Podcast Answer Man number 22. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Podcast Answer Man. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and I have some excellent news in the area of podcasting this morning, and I could not wait to share this information with you. This is huge. This is like going to be a massive, huge news story, I believe. And if you haven't heard the news yet and you're a podcaster, today is a day to rejoice, I think. So let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Well, if you've seen the title of this episode, you will probably already know. But Microsoft is going to support podcasting. Yes, absolutely. Microsoft is going to support podcasting. Absolutely. And we are so excited about that, and I'll explain to you why we're so excited about that in just a moment. But let me just read to you a couple things, and props for this story, for breaking this story, at least to me anyway, would be Paul Colligan. And you can find the link to his story in his blog in the show notes of this actual podcast. So I'm going to put a link in there. Definitely you can read everything for yourself, but I'm just want to share with you a couple things that I read on his blog here. And to start things off, it says Microsoft to support podcasting. Zune 2. Okay, the Zune 2 is coming out. Everybody knows about the Zune 1. Probably one of the hugest flops in major electronic news. I mean, they pushed this thing and it wasn't even accepted even before it was delivered. I mean, it was just really bad press. And I think that really the majority of the people who wanted to get a Zune or who were upset with the Zune, the number one drawback was that there was no podcasting support. Well, I think Microsoft got the word or got the message, if you will. And now the Zune 2 that's getting ready to be released, it states that you can now sync and listen to your favorite podcast on your Zune. Now, as far as proof of this, Paul Colligan put some links to a CNET article and also to Gizmodo, where it shows like some artwork of what the interface will look like on these new Zune 2s, and everything all over the place. It has the word podcast or podcasting all over, so it's little proof there. And then he went on to talk about a CNET report, and he quoted the CNET report by saying, which said, Zune devices will automatically sync when connected over home wireless networks. This feature is designed to ensure that owners always leave the home with the latest content, such as podcasts. That is awesome. And then, of course, he had done an update to his blog entry here not too long after that. And it says, from the official Microsoft documentation that has been released, and this is quotation, it says, and this is from Microsoft, in addition to a wide selection of music, Zune Marketplace offers thousands of music videos and more than 1,000 featured audio and video podcasts. You can also add your own podcasts by simply typing the URL. Did you hear that? Oh my gosh, how awesome is that? Now, Paul Colligan points out, and I would definitely point out as well, this is way beyond what the iPhone's able to do right now. I mean, here we thought it was cool, the internet browsing and stuff like that, and you know, with the new iTunes store and being able to download and then it'll sync. But man, I mean, now could you just imagine our iPhone having the ability to, when you come home and you're in the wireless network, to have it automatically sync to your iTunes? You don't have to hook up the sync cable or anything like that. It just syncs. That would be awesome. Could you imagine being out in an open Wi-Fi area and open up and pull up the iTunes Music Store and have it automatically, well, actually it wouldn't do that automatically, but could you imagine pulling up the URL of a podcast and have it automatically download the most recent stuff? I mean, these are things that we definitely want. But that's not the news story. The technology there is not the news story. The news story is that that the word podcasts is actually in an official document released by Microsoft, as reported by Paul Colligan. So, which strangely enough, he does not he's got a link to everything else he talked about, but not a link to the Microsoft official documentation. But I'm just going to take his word on it here. And so work with me here. Can you imagine the word podcasts being in an official Microsoft documentation? Now, why is that a huge deal? Well, first of all, podcasting has been around for now, I guess it's going on 3 or 4 years. And it was, there was the whole technically savvy people that, were really into blogging and really into RSS syndication. There was a good market for podcasts even before iTunes came around. But when iTunes came out and started to support podcasting and really opened up an entire section of its music store to allow you to browse a directory of podcasts and to allow yourself to start downloading and have it automatically update as a podcatcher. As soon as Apple did that, it really pushed podcasting from being a major geek fest thing to an almost mainstream thing among Apple computer users, or at least iPod lovers. And so podcasting has gotten its huge boost initially from iTunes. And Leo Laporte is somebody I listen to. If you've never heard of Leo Laporte, he's a technology evangelist, I would say. And he's on some TV shows. He's got his own radio show. He's got his own podcast network, much like we do here at gspn.tv. And so anyway, Leo Laporte has been talking about this for a long time, saying, hey, and of course many other people have been talking about it too. So not just Leo. Anyway, but people have been saying, podcasting isn't going to go mainstream until Microsoft, which owns, the vast majority of the hardware market out there, starts to use the word podcast or something to indicate downloadable media of some type. Once 90% of the computers out there have the word podcast and podcast support, that's when you see podcasting really taking off. Well, here we have it, people. We have a Microsoft product that will now have podcasting and support, and not just podcasting support, downloadable media support, but they're using the word. There is a lot of people out there wondering if they would use the word podcasting because of the iPod association and the word pod in there and all of those things. But this story, everything in this story indicates that the time has come. And I don't know if hell has frozen over. I don't know what kind of deals were made, but this should be a day of rejoicing for all podcasters out there. And if you don't understand the enormity of what this means, then I think you will once the Zune 2 is released. And another part of the Zune.net talks about Zune 1 users will be seeing an update in November. So it seems to me that whenever these Zune 2s are released, and at least November for Zune 1 users, that means Microsoft is going to start showing some podcast support. And oh my gosh, I need to find out how I can possibly get into the more than 1,000 featured audio and video podcasts, because that would be huge. But can you imagine that? Now, this makes the Zune look much more enticing than the Zune 1 originally was. And even the Zune 1 users, I think, are going to be quite happy that, they've added this feature. But, of course, I couldn't imagine myself going away from the iPod. Although I am upset with a couple things on the iPhone regarding the podcasting interface. So, and I'll save that maybe for another episode. But anyway, the big news here, Microsoft to support podcasting. Now, if they do this not only on the Zune and in their Zune marketplace, but if they start putting some podcasting support maybe into Windows Media Player, and some other just normal things that they have going on in their operating system, the word podcast starts to pop up here and there, and all of a sudden it's available on everybody's desktop and 90% of the computers everywhere. Wow, that's huge. Absolutely huge. And I'm so excited about this news. So I just needed to bring you that excitement and tell you what's going on in the area of podcasting. If you have any questions, comments, anything, you can leave us a message on the Podcast Answer Man, gspn.tv listener line. Call us today. Call us right now. Hang up and call right now at area code 859-795-4067. That again is area code 859-795-4067. Until next time, God bless, and we'll be back with some more podcasting stuff.
This show is brought to you by TalkShoe.
Create your own internet talk show. Check it out at talkshoe.com.